Hello everyone, it's Chinsu from the Personal Philosophy Project, a place where I talk all about personal finance, productivity and personal development from the perspective of a normal, non-multi-billionaire, self-employed person who's just trying to figure it all out. If you're interested in relatable and realistic talks about this kind of thing in general, I would highly suggest that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'm here for you every week, and actually it's Vlogmas, so I'm here for you every day. And if you're one of my lovely regulars, hi, how are you? Please consider hitting the like button and joining in the conversation in the comments down below, because I love chatting with you. It really makes my day. Now, no buy year number 2. This was a tricky one, wasn't it? This was strangely much harder than the first one due to so many factors that I'll go into. So if you're completely new to the no buy process and you've never seen my channel before, this video won't make sense to you out of context of the rest of my journey. I've been doing no buy year now for 2 years, starting my 3rd year in January. I have a whole playlist dedicated to the whole thing, so you can see everything from the rules I set in the 1st year, the rules I set this year for my 2nd year, include things I'm allowed to buy like gifts and exercise, and things that I can't buy like clothes and makeup and all that, whatever. It's all listed in my whole playlist, so I'll leave that in the iCard up there for you to peruse at your own pleasure. Also, as you'll know if you've been on my channel for a while, I also made a video recently about the unexpected purchases I made on my no buy year, because it's been a weird year. So again, you will see all about those details if you go to that video listed up above. But to all of you who've been following my journey, let's talk about the 2nd year of no buy, shall we? Because this year has been weird. Primarily it's been weird because it's been playing a lot on my conscience this year about my local businesses, about local industries, seeing the effects that the pandemic has had on independent sellers and things like that. And so many emotions. Also, there was a whole gift-giving situation which happened with my family and the conflict of interest in that. So let's start from the beginning, because there's so much to cover. So as you'll know from my video where I talked about unexpected purchases of my 2nd year of no buy, there are things that I had to buy that I hadn't expected to. They were not on my no buy list, but they weren't on my yes list either. They were things that I never thought I'd have to buy due to the circumstances of this year. But as I explained in the video, I've also done the ways up of my finances and I've come out even keel. So I haven't spent more money this year than I did last year. So on money level, I'm playing even level right now, which is great. It means that I haven't, broken my no buy year. My savings have been equal to that of last year. I'm on the same par. In January, I would have just hit even level with everything I invested in this year, mainly primarily for work, also things like my fitness. I'll be even keel, and then it'll be making me money. So next year I'll go in with less things to spend on, which is great because some of my essentials have now dwindled down to the bare minimum. So I'll be going in next year more hardcore, but I'll be talking about my rules for next year in a new video later on in Vlogmas, so make sure you're subscribed. But yeah, this year was weird in perspective of where I spent my money was very different from where I spent my money in my no buy year in year 1, because again, this year was plagued with this conscious, this fear that a lot of independent businesses were struggling. Now here in Scotland, particularly here in Edinburgh, we pride ourselves a lot on independent businesses, business makers, entrepreneurs. There's a lot going on here. It's a very cultural city, it's a very artistic city, and it's filled with independent shops and businesses. Like, we have so many independent bookshops, we have so many independent coffee shops. Like, we're thriving with independence here. It's something the locals, we pride ourselves on. We love supporting them, and it was heartbreaking to see certain ones leave. They couldn't survive, primarily restaurants. One was a vegan restaurant that had been around for like 50 plus years. It was so sad to see it go. So we've lost a lot of businesses that way. And this year I wanted to support people and support my favourite shops without buying from them and breaking my no buy rules. It was a very strange year. So a lot of my money went into the area that I was allowed to spend money on, which was gifts, because again, I was very scared about the mental well-being of my friends and family. During this year being isolated, particularly my best friend. So what I spent most of my money on this year was buying gifts for other people, but only from independents. So it was my independent secondhand bookshops, my independent little cafes, things like that, where they were doing takeouts, little just independent trinkets from little independent shops near me. I was buying things for other people more than I did last year. which was wonderful actually, because what I've enjoyed the most out of earning more money since becoming self-employed, the greatest benefit of that has been that I can justify spending more money on people. I can justify to myself like, oh, I can have the heating on for half an hour a day, it's not going to like rob me. I can buy my friends presents. There are several more charities I also invested in this year. So in my first no buy year, I think I was only signed up to 2 charities, maybe only one. I think one of them I joined in the late at the end, so it was just 2. But this year I've been signed up to around like 7 charities now. I've been donating to a lot of dog rescue shelters, homeless shelters. So I've been donating a lot more money in the charity realm, and I've been gifting a lot more recently. But I haven't overspent on my no buy, which you're probably wondering why. Well, because certain things closed. So there were certain allowances I allowed myself in my first no buy year that I couldn't use in my second no buy year. So gym membership, gone. So there was a budget I set myself at the beginning of the year, which allowed me to go out for dinner once a month with my partner. Obviously we didn't do that either. There was money saved there, which I then spent on gifts or charity donations. Another thing that I lost was coffee money. So I was allowed to go out for friends once a week for coffee to meet up, maybe usually on a Saturday or Sunday. Didn't do that most of the year. All that coffee money ended up being gifts or charity donations. So it's weighed itself up pretty nicely this year due to things I cut out, which has made me reevaluate what my rules will be next year, because there are certain things that I now have gone a year without spending money on that I don't have any intention of now going back to doing. So that would be for another video. I've now learned actually what I prioritize more is being able to give to other people more than just spending on like little things like that, or being able to buy my friend a coffee. And I've also appreciated being part of like a movement of supporting my local businesses through that method. So through buying gifts from them, I feel like I had a connection with the, you know, managers at the shops that I was talking to regularly to check in if they were doing okay, if they needed help with their social medias, just little things like that. It was just really nice to connect with people in my local area and in my local independent shopping area. And I loved being able to have that chance to support them without having to like indulge myself in stuff, and certainly stayed away from all these like online sales. You know me, I'm not going to fast fashion, no, just anything like that I've stayed well clear of. However, I was given things this year that have added to things I didn't want to add to. So very similar mindset, ironically, we're all family, that's how we think, very similar to each other. I'm so sad. So another thing that people did for me was my family wanted to make sure I was okay, that I was feeling, you know, happy and perky and not alone. And we tend to do that through gift giving. Can you believe it? Oh my god. See, I need to become less materialistic. And that's probably what my third no buy year is going to look into, because even when I was in this pit where I felt lonely and scared for my family and my friends, I ended up buying them stuff to make them like feel connected to, and it was supporting local businesses at the same time. That's problematic in nature, I realise that, so that needs to be addressed. But anyway, so my family did very similar things to me. They wanted to get me things to, you know, like, oh, here's some money, like, go treat yourself, but they also wanted to get me something physical. And last year we had a battle. So when it came to like my birthday, or if I got a gift or anything like that, my family gave me money because, you know, I said I don't want anything physical. And that raised some conflict, primarily because my family don't like giving non-gifts, and also they felt weird giving me money. It was almost like a strange, like, I don't know, they just didn't feel comfortable with that. They wanted to have something to show for it. They wanted me to either like invest it in something physical so they could say like, I bought Chintzia that thing. So that problem came up again this year. So I ended up getting money for like my birthday, and mid-year around the summertime I was gifted some money, and my family insisted that I get something with it. So I did. I got myself some secondhand cardigans. I got 2 secondhand cardigans, and I got a book voucher, so I bought some books for my birthday voucher, but I stuck within the book voucher limit. There's some pennies left on these cards, left over, that I've given the National Book Token Service some pennies. Oh well, I love the National Book Token Service. They can have those pennies if they like it. So yeah, I stuck to the card limit, but it was weird going shopping again. Like, it was weird buying myself secondhand cardigans. Like, I got these 2 and I already feel like cluttered. Like, even though I love these 2 cardigans because they're just like incredible vintage cardigans that my Auntie Alex now and Auntie Miranda have now officially paid for me. It feels so weird to have new things, even though they're really old cardigans. It felt, I don't know, I didn't like it. Like, as much as I appreciate these beautiful cardigans, which I really, really love, and I'm going to wear for like years and years and years, like I can see myself in these until I'm an old lady, I don't know, I immediately felt cluttered with like the few books that I got for my birthday. Like, people gifted me books obviously as well, so I got a lot of books for my birthday. And these cardigans, I already feel like I'm over cluttered. Like, I already feel like I need to do another decluttering. It's weird. So as much as I gave in this year, so first year I stuck to my guns and went, no, I'm not spending the money, you give me money, but I don't want anything physical and materialistic. Then this year they're like, oh, it's a pandemic and we don't want you to be alone and you're punishing yourself, and there was all those arguments of like, you're punishing yourself, you're denying yourself things, you're self-punishing, and I'm like, I'm not self-punishing myself, it's something that I'm trying to stick to. And they're like, no, you're doing it on purpose to spite yourself, it's self-hatred embedded, that drama. So I was like, fine, I'll get myself these bloody secondhand cardigans. And then now I don't feel great for it. Like, as much as it, even though it wasn't my money, and I really love these cardigans. Also, can we talk about, when did secondhand clothes become really expensive? I'll have a whole rant video on that, because when do people think they had the audacity to charge secondhand clothing at the prices that they're charging online? Seriously? I am shocked. I've been looking at some vintage things like online when I was looking for these cardigans, and I was like, really? You're charging £45 for like a cardigan that was, I didn't spend that much on a cardigan, don't worry, I spent no more than £20 on my 2 cardigans. But I saw, here's some tea, I saw someone recently on a thrifting Instagram that I follow selling a skirt for €46. I have this skirt because my friend got it me for Christmas either last year or the year before. It's from Primark. It's from Primark. I know my friend didn't spend like more than like £12 on it. It's from Primark and she's selling it secondhand vintage for €46 plus shipping. Anyway, rant over, I can talk a whole lot about that. But yeah, so I bought these 2 cardigans, and whilst I love them and I'm so appreciative of my aunties for technically getting those for me as my presents, I don't want to do that again. I know in the 3rd year I'm going to have to be much harder and be like, no, I don't want anything materialistic. Like, I'm done, because now I'm doing a massive declutter again. Tempted to film it this time with my clothing on, although it's a real mess my place. I need to do another declutter because I love my clothing, and now I've got to a point where I need to do it again. That's my 2nd year of no buying. Is it no buying? Probably not. Most people would be like, oh no, you bought gifts, and oh no, you bought these 2 cardigans because your aunts gave you the money to go get yourself some birthday presents, and you actually spent that money on birthday presents, and therefore negated the whole no buy year. If that's the way, yes, technically that's true. So yeah, that was my no buy year. I was allowed to buy gifts for people. I wasn't going to deny people gifts just because I'm on a no buy year. I know next year I just didn't like getting more stuff. It's strange. I felt weird doing it. I felt weird receiving the stuff. I felt weird like having the stuff. I felt weird having packages. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So is that a fail of a no buy year? Probably yes. But the gifts I'm not taking back. Like, I love being able to buy my friends and my family stuff this year, because this year was miserable, and it was wonderful to be in a financial position where I could actually be like, hey, I can support this local Edinburgh bookshop and I can also support my friend. So yeah, I balance this weird blend of, it's actually really important for my local industry to stay alive during this time, and I'm in a financial position to be able to do it, and I'm in the financial position to be able to give people stuff. So that I used. So yeah. So whilst it's nothing for me to really show for it, except for the 2 presents that I didn't buy, but I bought technically because, you know, when, am I the only one? I've got a weird sense of fashion. People want me to have nice clothes. And then when I get to pick them, they're like, why did you pick that? I would never pick that for you. It's because I'm weird. So yeah, 2nd year, class as a fail by most people, I suppose. But I stuck to what I wanted to stick to, which was no fast fashion, no new stuff that I could buy for myself. I didn't spend my money on myself, and that was my main goal. That was my main goal, was not to spend money on myself. Charity's gone up, yes. Save some money by cutting certain things out, like my nail manicures I used to do for myself, they're gone. Gym membership, gone. There's things that I've cut out that I'm not reintroducing in next year, 2021. So there'll be my higher no buy years, and I think I'm going to go really hardcore next year. obviously had this moment in my year to see my essentials, really see my essentials, and I've done without some essentials this year, and I thought, you know what, cool, I'll cut you out next year. So I'm going to go rapid hardcore for year 3. Year 2 was a weird year in terms of business, in terms of gifting, in terms of charity donations. Spent more money there, spent less money on food, spent less money elsewhere. Interesting. Technically, if I'm looking at my end of my no buy year 2, in year 1, I spent technically more money on myself under my essentials category. In year 2, I spent way more money on other people, but that would be classed as shopping. It's strange. It's very, very strange. I can't really put my head on it. Most people say like, oh, buying any. Well, of course you can't go through life never buying anything. I need food, and I can't grow food in a flat in Edinburgh. I can't buy my dog food. I can't grow my own dog food. My dog eats meat. I don't. So therefore, that's a problem. And that's what I give my dog my body to eat. But then that would only be a limited source, and it probably won't be very nice anyway, because I'm a vegan, so the dog would be like, ugh. Anyway, that was a random rant. But yeah, so year 1 was far more strict, far more that was like getting over like buying things for myself year 1. Year 2 was suddenly realising that I live in a consumer society, that I have the privilege and the ability to get things for people and support local independent businesses, so I'm going to do that. I have more money to give to charity, so I'm going to do that too. And I cut down on all the things that I class as essential, so things that were essential in my year 1 are no longer essential in my year 2. Yeah, so it's been a real learning curve, and I think year 3, I'm just going to go full hardcore. I think I'll pull back the reins on the gifts, because I did spend a lot on gifts this year. While I won't deny it, I'm in the position to do so. I need to check myself with spending that much money on gifts, because I panicked. I was just so scared for everyone's mental health this year that I thought, oh, brighten up their day, they will see something in the post. And also I didn't want local contractors and Etsy sellers and all that jazz to go out of business. So yeah, I spent more in different places. So first year as well, I spent the same money in the same areas. This year I spread out my network, and I spent the same amount of money but in lots of different little areas for like different sellers, different like artists, and of course I was getting like Christmas presents. I should stress, some of them weren't gifts that I got at that time. They were like, I did Christmas shopping in the summer. Like during the beginning of lockdown, I was doing Christmas shopping because I needed to try and keep these shops afloat. So I got most of my Christmas presents during lockdown just to keep these independent shops afloat. So yeah, very weird year for no buy year. But whilst I know that people would like critique me and be like, oh, well, you spent gifts. Whilst I know I'm very hyper aware, people will still critique me and say like, well, you still spent a lot of money in places, you still bought things, even though for other people you still bought things, therefore it's not a no buy year. I'm proud of where I've come as a shopper. I'm no longer an emotional shopper for myself. I don't need to heal myself with purchases. I don't need to heal myself with things. If anything, when I get things, I become more anxious and I become like, ugh, that's made me feel cluttered, and I don't like that. I don't like that feeling of getting new things. Suddenly not like, whoa, no new clothes. I'm not going anywhere near that kind of stuff. But even like secondhand things, it felt really weird to receive those things. Yeah, weird feelings with stuff. And I know I say that as someone who's now covered in books, but yeah, third year is going to be really dedicated to getting my stuff down even more, I think. I genuinely found it weird having it reversed on me, being forced emotionally to... There's a weird connection, isn't it, with people wanting you to spend money, because they think if you're not spending money on yourself, you're punishing yourself. And if anything, I felt worse after spending my birthday money. I felt weird after spending it. And that to me was punishment, because I didn't want to do it. Even though I also feel like really cheeky asking people just for money. Like I just say like, if they say, oh, what can I get you? I'm like, well, then just money. But then you don't have to get me anything technically, because I don't like asking for money. But then when they insist, I'm like, well, I don't want anything. You can pay for like my glasses to get reglazed. And they were like, no. It wasn't birthday-esque enough. Seriously, what's with these boomers, man? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that very chatty, rambly video. So it wasn't structured. I just thought I'd just give my authentic feelings at the end of year 2. And I can't wait to talk to you about year 3, because I'm going hardcore, man. I'm going so much hardcore. If you like this video, please leave it a like. Leave any comments down below on any no-buy videos that you want me to discuss. I'm doing a couple more in Vlogmas, so make sure you're subscribed. And I'll see you tomorrow for another video. And remember, books save lives, so keep reading.